Hello everyone, I'm Paul and today we are solving problem 1536, minimum swaps to arrange a binary grid. This is a medium problem and next I will show you how to solve it step by step. We are given a binary grid, meaning a grid with only ones and zeros. For example, let's say that we're given this. And we can do this operation any number of times. We can choose any two adjacent rows of the grid and swap them. And we need to return the minimum number of steps to make the grid valid, or -1 if it's impossible. And in order for a grid to be valid, all the cells above the main diagonal should be zeros. So in this case, these three cells should be zeros. So what we can do here is swap these two rows and get this, then swap these two rows and get this, and then swap these two rows and get this. Now we have all zeros above the main diagonal, so this is the grid that we are looking for. And we can achieve this with three operations, which is the minimum number of operations, so we return 3 in this case. So we need to find some standard process to get all zeros above the main diagonal. And remember that we can only swap adjacent rows. For example, we can't swap the two rows. So let's start small. Let's say that we are standing here. We need these two cells to be zeros. So we are looking for some row in this grid that has 2 or more trailing zeros. And how do we get this number? How do we know that we need 2 trailing zeros in this row? Well, this number is given by n, because remember that this grid has a size of n times n, minus I, which is the current index, minus 1. So if we are standing at row 0, here we need n, which is 3 in this case, minus 0, minus 1 trailing zeros. This is equal to 2 at row 0. And now we can check if we have 2 or more trailing zeros here. Given that we don't, we can explore the next row. And maybe you are wondering, why do we go here before going here? Well, because if this is a valid row, we can just swap these two in only one operation, because we are trying to get the minimum number of operations to get a valid grid. So if this is valid, we are good to go. That's it. So we are here, this is not valid. Next we are here, we have 1 trailing zero, but we need 2 at least, so we continue with the next row, and here we have 2. So we know that we can put this row up here, but we can only swap adjacent rows, so we have to swap these 2 rows, then these 2 rows. So at this point we can add to the result the index of this row, which is 2, minus the index of the row that we are standing at, which is 0. 2 minus 0 is 2, so we add this to the result. Now we have already used this row, but these 2 are still available. So how can we handle this? Because first we were at index 0, now we are here, and this row is available. So what we can do is to push down these 2 rows. So now from this index, they are available. So now we have something like this. We are standing at row number 1 and we don't care about what we have already seen. We only care about the rows that we have available. So we are standing here and we need a number of trailing zeros, which is given by n, meaning 3, minus the current row index 1 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. So we need 1 trailing zero, and here we have 0. So we can explore the next row, and here we have 1 trailing zero. So we can swap these 2 rows and add to the result the index of this row, 2 minus the current index 1, this is 1. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So this is the new result. And now we have already used this row, but this one is available. So now we are iterating row number 2. We don't care about the past, we only know that this row is available. And the number of required zeros here is given by 3 minus the current index 2 minus 1. This is equal to 0, so we need 0 trailing zeros. And here we have 0 trailing zeros, so this is a valid row. We are good to go. The result stays at 3, Now we can continue, we are out of bounds, so we end here. Finally, we return 3. Now let's step back for a moment. Let's say that we are standing here. We need 2 or more trailing zeros, and given that we don't have enough in this row, we can try the next row, and then we can try the next row. As soon as we find one row with 2 or more trailing zeros, we know that this is the row to use up here. And why is this? How do we know that this is the valid row? Why, as soon as we find one row with 2 or more trailing zeros, we know that this is the row to use up here? Well, that's because this is a triangle. This means that we need a decreasing number of trailing zeros every time. The maximum number of trailing zeros that we need is up here in the first row. So as soon as we find the required number, we can just use the corresponding row. And that's how we get the minimum number of steps, because remember that we can only swap adjacent rows. So with this in mind, now let's see how to code this up. First, n is the length of the grid, and now we can build a function to get the number of trailing zeros in every row. So this will take a row every time, and we say that the count is initially 0. We want to return this count, and here in between we can iterate every cell in reverse. So we go from n-1 to -1 in steps of -1, and as soon as the current cell is different from 0, we can just break the loop. If we are here, we can add 1 to the count, and that's it. After this loop, we return the count. Now with this, we can build an array to store the number of trailing zeros in every row. So we'll call this the zeros, and this takes the current row for row in grid. The result is initially 0, and for every row, every time we have a required number of trailing zeros. We'll say that this is the target, and this is given by the number of columns minus the current index -1. And we are checking if the number of trailing zeros in the current row is greater or equal to the target. This means that we have a valid row, so we can just continue with the next one. If we are still here, we can try next rows to check if we find a valid one. So for shape in range from I plus 1 to n, we are checking if array at j is greater or equal to the target. This means that now we have a valid row, so we can add to the result j minus I. This is the required number of steps to move row at j to whatever we have I. And now we need to push down every row that's in between I and j minus 1. Remember the drawing. So we can do this by saying for k in range from j to I in steps of -1, array at k is equal to array at k minus 1. We are going in reverse to preserve the correct number of trailing zeros in every row. And if we found a valid row, we can just break this loop. And if we are here and we haven't found a valid row, we need to return -1. So how can we check if whether we found a valid row or not at this point? Well, we can have a boolean found, and we can say if not found at this point, we just return -1. And up here, we can say that found is initially false, and whenever we find a valid row, we can set found to true. And that's it. If we reach the end of the main loop and we don't return anything, we can return the result. So this is the entire code. Now let's submit this and see if it works. As you can see, this works and it's very efficient. Here the complexity is big O of n squared. And maybe you're thinking, why not n cubed? Because here we have 1, 2, 3 nested for loops. The thing is that here we are swapping rows at most once per target. And every swap requires big O of n in the worst case, so this is overall big O of n squared. And space complexity is big O of n because of this array up here. So this is it for this problem. If you found this useful, please drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.